Fool theory rebuttal? Easy. First of all, I think it's already on the hex.com/scam rebuttal list. But in case it's not, here you go. Businesses are a Ponzi scheme because if people stop buying, they go out of business. That's how stupid no-coiners are. Houses are a Ponzi scheme because the price only goes up if the next guy pays more. Stocks are a Ponzi scheme because the price only goes up if the next guy pays more. Yeah, wow. Life is a Ponzi scheme. It only continues if the next guy has kids. Yeah, that's how everything works. True. Yep. The price goes down if everyone stops buying. Yeah, that goes for everything. Yep, everything works that way. And the whole planet, yes, correct. And this disproves the best performing asset class of all time. How? How does it do that? So, yeah, everything is the greater fool theory. Everything. And then stupid people come along and they're like, well, we want things that have intrinsic gains. We want weak things that, oh, is that what you want? Okay, we'll buy utilities. And what's the price to earnings ratio on utilities? Garbage, like some of the lowest that exist. So if you want high to price earnings ratio and you want high volatility and you want mad gains, it turns out that most of the mad gains occur in things that do not have base demand. Like in theory, Amazon's lost money every single year. And how's their stock price looking? It's basically, if you zoom out, up and to the right forever. Oh, but there's 40 and 50% dips? Yep, and still up and to the right forever. And they're 50% of all internet sales in the United States. What do you want? Right? So that people don't understand the time value of money. Like Amazon could decide to be massively profitable at any moment they want by just stopping growing and just sit where they are and just make insane gains every single year. But they'd rather keep getting scaled up and make more in the future. So it's called discounted future earnings. I think the guys most terrified of being fractionally reserved are guys with bit licenses. And Gemini has a bit license. But I also personally know people that can't get their money off Gemini. So on the one hand, sure, they're probably under the most strict regulatory regime in the entire universe. But on the other hand, who cares? I know people that can't get their money off. So now what? You know what I'm saying?
How long have they been trying to get their money off?
I don't know, a few months.
Well, forget about that.
Well, if you can bring one up, I'd like to speak with them because I've had withdrawals from Gemini within the last few months. Never had an issue with them.
But let me ask you a question. Why on earth would you take the chance? Why on earth would you take the chance? They promoted a failed product to their users. They promoted something to their users that just got their users wrecked. Their users can't withdraw from their partner in the Earn program. So they fucked their users. So why would you take a chance? Why would you risk your stack to find out? Remove your money. Is that easy?
Well, I know plenty of people who got burned on Hex as well, my friend. So maybe you should tread lightly.
Yeah, but there's shit you can't. Price volatility is not something you can program out of a speculative instrument. I know people that got wrecked on Facebook. I got people that got wrecked on Amazon. Speculative instruments have price volatility. You can't program that away. 100% perfect flawless operation with 100% uptime is what Hex has. And guess what? It's not what Gemini has. We're at 100% uptime. Gemini isn't. Our shit works perfectly for 3 years, and no one else's does.
Well, Gemini has segregated client accounts, and that's enforced by the tightest regulation in the world.
Yes, yes, I know, but you're repeating me to me. Sure, they're probably under the most strict regulatory regime in the entire universe. The bit license is very strict, I know, which is why so few companies have them.
Right. So one thing that
do you have stock in Gemini or some shit, or did you suck the Wicklevi off in your weekends, or like what's the deal? Why do you like these guys so much? They're just another shit exchange with no liquidity.
Please watch your language.
No, fuck you. I'll use whatever language I want. Suck my balls, kid. I'm an adult. I'll speak however I like. They're just another shit exchange with no liquidity.
I don't. Why do you pretend to not be a total fool?
Well, I saw you in an interview on screen saying, I don't ever want to be in the public again. You know, you've bothered my family, you've bothered me, you've bothered the people I work with. This will be the last time that you ever see me. Those words from your mouth.
That's actually, I said I didn't want to go on television, David. Please don't bullshit. One, that was an hour interview that was cut and changed, which you'll find out at court soon, which they altered and they asked different questions and gave different answers to.
So we'll do a new one. Are you Satoshi?
Yes.
Okay. So you wrote the Satoshi white paper.
Yes.
And you implemented the 1 megabyte block limit.
I put a temporary limit in there after being badgered by Mr. Finney.
Right. So when you had access to the code base and could update the GitHub, and when you had access to your account on Bitcoin Talk, and when you had access to your Satoshi@gmx.com email, when did you decide that you would stop using those and stop having influence over the project, and then side channel appear as a broke guy later with no successful business interests, no Bitcoin tied to his address, no running from the government in Australia from the Australian tax office?
Sorry, I'm not actually running from Australia. I'm in Britain. You know those extradition laws in Britain to Australia? Sorry, morons who make things up. That's called libel and slander. That's why I've already got a number of people in court, because they're dumb. They have no idea that you can't basically be a public figure in Britain and run from the government.
Right. You're only a public figure because you cosplay as Satoshi, right?
No,
Real Satoshi would still be writing Bitcoin improvement proposals. Real Satoshi would have been there with me fighting against BCH and taking the brand. But you didn't even fork real Bitcoin. You forked a copy of Bitcoin. You made a copy of a copy.
I did not fork Bitcoin. Segwit forked Bitcoin.
Bro,
So, you want to say these things and whatever else, and you want to say blah, blah, blah. No, I actually made a deal with Jihan. Jihan actually stabbed us in the back, so that's a different issue.
I was watching you during the hash rate race when you were competing with Kelvin's hash rate from CoinGeek to try and actually take over as the authoritative chain against Bcash.
No, you said we
I will say, and this is a controversial opinion I have that people don't like, I think Satoshi is deceased or a bitch. Vitalik invented Ethereum, and he's standing on stage, and he's not the most buff-looking dude, okay? He weighs maybe 100 pounds. And he stands on stage as the founder of a cryptocurrency and isn't a coward and doesn't run away and still writes software and still writes improvements and still donates to charity, supports sens.org, you know, trying to save your life with longevity research. He does all those things, and he doesn't hide away like a little bitch. Now people say, oh, well, Satoshi did what, you know. No, he could do, if he was alive, he could do the same thing. I'm sure he ain't smaller than Vitalik, right?
Okay. Now, first of all, whoever Satoshi is completely fucking insignificant. We know all the people who were involved, right, in the development.
He's got 1 million coins. He's still got 5% of the supply.
Pardon?
It matters. He's got 5% of the supply. He's still got 1 million coins.
Okay, that's fine. You know, if Craig Wright was around, there's a whole bunch of people. Now, you can buy some authoring software for $79.95 to run against the Satoshi white paper. And every single person involved in this, by the way, has written multiple technical papers. If you look at it, you don't need any software. Let me just tell you. If you look at the white paper, you'll notice two very unusual things. Number one, all of the spelling for words which have different spelling in American and English, and there are about 5 words in there that do, have the British spelling. The second telling thing is, after every sentence are 2 spaces. Now, this is a minority of choice for people who write, but you check it out yourself. Look at the white paper.
I agree. You can also do timing analysis.
There are only 2 of the people that could have been involved, which are British, and only one of them double spaces after a period. Fuck me. Look it up. I mean, people going, who is it? Who is it? It's easy.
So you can also do analysis of what hours he posted to Bitcoin Talk. And you know that, so a lot of people try and be anonymous on the internet, and then there's an attack vector they're not aware of, which is a timing attack. So if you do real-time communication and you say, hello, Richard, and I say, hello back, John, they know that you and I were communicating because my response was so short in time next to your transmission.
Yes.
So if you really want to be anonymous, you have to use different words and introduce random delays in your responses.
That's a possibility, but why implicate one of the other players?
Yeah, sure. But the thing is, if Once again, Vitalik said this on stage. It makes a lot of sense. The most, it's kind of like Occam's razor. The easiest way to prove that you're Satoshi is to sign from an old address. Now, it still doesn't prove that you are, but it sure eliminates a lot of other people from contention. And if anyone else is trying any other method that's not the simplest one, then they're trying to bullshit you. So if someone is telling you a lot of words that take hours and hours and hours when they can make a signature in 10 seconds, they're bullshitting you for a reason, right? The signature is the thing that the entire system requires.
I might have been misled, but if you use full authoring software, it comes out 99% who Satoshi is. So $79.95. I only get a $25 commission. I'm being front of this now.
By the way, I put when I first started, I put 2 spaces after periods because when I first started typing, I typed on a real typewriter, and that's what you did when you typed on a real typewriter. So it's kind of something that old people do.
I'm not saying. All I'm saying is there are only 2 British people, only one of them have double spaces in all of their papers.
But so you're restricting the set of people to people that were on the mailing list for a cypherpunk mailing list, right? That's what you're using as your input set. For your input set of possible Satoshites, you're using the mailing list of cryptography, the cypherpunk mailing list, right? That's your input set.
No. I'm just using those people we all know were involved, for fuck's sake.
But that's where we know them from. That's where that list comes from.
There's a history to this. There's less than a dozen of them.
Yeah, because that's the mailing list.
Every single one has written multiple papers. Dr. Adam Back has written over 100, for fuck's sake. Randomly grab one and run the analysis.
Uh-huh. So we talked about who makes the most money. What have you made the most money on? I won't answer that question. I guess I will. It's probably Bitcoin.
What's the question?
What have you made the most money on? Crypto. Which crypto? You don't have to answer. That's like a personal bullshit question. I would not expect you to answer that.
Well, good.
Okay.
Next question.
But I mean, if you're already all in and you're like, fuck it, I'm not paying taxes anyway, come and get me. I mean, really, you can fucking say whatever you want.
I know, and I said what I wanted, which is nothing.
I feel you, man. So what do you want to see go up now? Like, what are you doing? Are you shilling? I mean, I'm wearing a fucking Hex t-shirt. I'm shilling. What are you selling?
My biggest project is the McAfee DEX.
Okay.
It came out 3.5 weeks ago. We carry every token on
free because I love you guys. Now, as you know, we got the world's largest airdrop, pulsechain.com, and we have the coolest, highest liquidity automated market maker exchange called pulsex.com. It's generated about $1 billion for people supporting the political statement of freedom of movement and freedom of assembly, which are guaranteed in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. You can't generate political change if you can't gather with each other and speak and share ideas. The difference between being in prison and not in prison is who you get to hang out with and where you get to go. And if someone's controlling where you get to go, that used to be called false imprisonment, that used to be called kidnapping, but apparently now if you do it at scale to enough people, it's not a crime. Crazy. I don't get it. You, honest person, never committed any crimes, now you can't go where you want to go anymore. I don't know about that. Doesn't seem fair. So, world's largest airdrop, Richard Hart called the top twice, created an asset that went up in price 10,000-fold. That's 1,000,000% in under a year and a half. World's largest airdrop, free books, t.me/scivive, free chat rooms. We got 65,000 plus, maybe 68,000 people in the t.me/pulsechain.com. We've got 38,000 people in t.me/hexcrypto. We've got, I think, maybe 35,000 people in t.me/pulsexcom. And we're just winning the game. I mean, you look at these sacrifice addresses for Pulse Chain and Pulse X, and they've got over $650 million of stablecoins sitting in there. Now, isn't that funny? Stablecoins during a bear market. Genius. That's a nice thing. By the way, when Bitcoin had dropped 55% from my top call 10 months ago, Hex went up. So if you had sold Bitcoin 10 months ago when I called the top on the day and bought Hex instead, you'd be up 10 times your money right now instead of down half. That's 20 times better. I'm the giving tree of crypto. It's crazy. So what new things do we got going on? We got some news with Pulse. We have working bridges, if you haven't noticed it. So you can bridge coins from the Ethereum testnet to the pulsechain testnet,